have a nonprofit organization called Heroes, which is helping everyone receive ongoing effective support, which is an HIV education organization. We provide services to people living with HIV or at risk for HIV, and our definition of at risk is anybody who has sex. We have a youth program called TIME, which is Teens in Motivational Education, from birth to 21. And we have an adult program called MBSU, which is Mind, Body, and Soul University, which is the program that we tell the clients, anybody who have sex, that's the one, because the teen program is actually a teen pregnancy prevention program. We focus on abstinence, but we do both sides of the picture, because our personal philosophy is we think the abstinence only is a setup to fail.
Why?
Because how can you, in Louisiana, we have some of the highest rates of STDs, high rates of teen pregnancy, high rates of high school dropouts, high rates of everything, and how can you tell them just don't do it when if they think about it, 20 years ago, they didn't have half of the peer pressures that the kids have now. They know what they did. And so for us to tell them just don't do it, when we know they're already doing it because we got the rates, the numbers, would be a setup to fail. And my bottom line is it worth dying for? No matter what it is it worth dying for? So we give them both sides of the picture.
How old is your organization? How old is Heroes?
7 years old.
7 years old. And how did it come about?
Heroes actually came about because I've been living with HIV for 21 years, and I went through several years of failed groups, support groups, that just wouldn't meet my needs. Before my group started, I had a son that died, and I have a real issue with people telling me no. And the town
died of HIV or died
from HIV.
Okay.
And
AIDS.
Yeah. Well, actually, complications from meds. He never did get the diagnosis of, but we know what it was, and that ain't even.
How old was he?
3.
Mm-hmm.
But before he died, we had a lot of no's. I was married. My ex-husband's job found out about my son's status from an insurance form, and because I live in a very small town, we did not have a lot of money, did not have the right last name, did not have any of that. So unfortunately in the South, I get reality checks all the time, and my reality checks is, it's so sad to say in 2004 it's still who you know. And so they told the town about my status and my son's status. The town asked us to leave. That's where I live now. And so they fired my husband from his job, fired me. I was a substitute teacher, fired me from the job. My son was about a year old, getting ready to turn a year old, and he had actually gone to the hospital in New Orleans, and the hospital in New Orleans had given him about 6 months to live at that point. And so what we did was just trying to cope with everything that was going on, and the town was actually, they gave me so much strength, they just didn't know it, because they told me to leave. And like I said, I just have an issue with people telling me what I can and can't do. And so I actually just started fighting, and I guess if it wouldn't have been for my son, I don't know if I would have gotten as involved, because it was all focused around him. Because they was telling me what he couldn't do, and that's what made, oh no, he's gonna have everything everybody else has. I'm sorry you're scared, I'm sorry, but he's gonna have everything everybody else has. So I actually started fighting for my son, and then when my son passed, I was like, oh, I guess I could do something else now, and started going to the groups, and then realized what was going on, and they didn't work for me. So that's when I started, and I had a lot of information I'd gained when I was fighting for my son.
Anymore.
I have several